All right, ladies, now listen to this, because we're 2 days away from Valentine's Day, so we're going to give you a little bit of help here. Wake Up Woman. It's a book title to a book that offers women an insight into relationships and traps they might find themselves into. It's not a formula for any relationship, but rather helps you notice things about yourself and relationships. So if you want to know how to handle a relationship, then buckle up. Yende, the author of Wake Up Woman, joins us in the studio to give his brotherly advice. Good morning, Linda. It's good to have you.
Morning, Leanne. Good to be here.
Okay,
Great
so
to be here.
Talk to me about this. It's a very bold title. Where are we going with this book?
Okay, I think, first of all, the title comes from the frustration I was feeling at times while I was busy writing the book.
Yeah.
The book was, I didn't write it as a book. When I initially started, it was just a conversation with individuals. I had a lot of female friends, on Facebook in particular, who'd always just sort of come to me for relationship advice. I don't know why. I was just this guy, I suppose.
Yes.
I was a very approachable sort of guy, and they'd come to me for the male perspective. And in the process of all of that, you know, you get that time. So those times, I mean, we were talking off air just now about this woman in the movie where you almost feel like grabbing her by the shoulders and saying, "Wake up, woman! He's just not into you," or whatever the case might be.
If you saw it, it was called "He's Just Not Into You."
Exactly.
And that's the basis of it. It's like,
precisely.
Ladies, you know when a guy's into you.
You really don't. You can tell. I mean, if a guy calls you only after he's come back from partying at 2 in the morning and whatnot, he's really, all you are is a booty call, let's face it. And you know,
Really?
he's not that into
that's
you.
That's terrible.
But they're refusing to see this for some reason. And she's sitting there, trying to decipher little messages like, why is he doing what he's doing, etc.
Yeah. So what you're telling me is that guys are simple.
Well, look.
Are they simple? I mean, if they like you, they like you. If they don't like you,
it's that part is very straightforward.
So really, that's
pretty straightforward.
He'll
let you know, and he will show you.
Okay.
It really is that simple.
Yeah.
So stop trying to figure it out. If he's, you're sitting there and decoding things like, well, he came and fixed the lights at my house last week. That must mean he loves me, right? Why hasn't he told you?
Yeah.
If he hasn't told you, he doesn't love you. It's really that simple.
Okay. All right. So I mean, so love with men is simple, is what you're saying.
But
do
really
all men think the same?
Look, they certainly don't. They certainly don't. I mean, we're all very different in our approaches. But the point is, there's certain things that are glaringly obvious, and people just tend to want to ignore them. They choose to ignore them.
Yeah.
And, that's the sad thing. That's what really, that's where I was coming from, because too often, a lady will actually talk to her female friends. She'll talk to her female friends who will tell her what they think she wants to hear. Mm. And I just came along and said, I'm actually going to tell it like it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you... Guys very rarely want to talk about emotions and feelings and how we feel when things happen. So the book is not a formula, as you said. It's not act like a man and, if you do A, B, C, and D, then you will get a man or anything ridiculous like that. It's just saying, look out for these things. Look out for some of the mistakes that you're actually making, like this.
X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we can have fun with it, but we can also be quite serious about it, because,
True.
Women find themselves in very, very toxic relationships
Absolutely.
as well. And they stay there. And they encounter abuse, and they encounter all of these terrible things that we do not deserve. Nobody deserves it. I mean, men don't deserve it either, because if you're in a toxic relationship with a woman, you also don't deserve that. But, what are the signs to look out for there? What advice do you give to women there?
You've actually touched on a very important thing right there. Something I picked up along the way is that this happens right across the board. Regardless of your social status, regardless of where you come from, all women experience this. All women. There's a lot of women out there who are successful, who are this, who are that, but they're sitting in toxic relationships. They're sitting in relationships where they really shouldn't be there. And it's about self-love, I think. Ultimately, I think the message is about self-love. If you have a high self-esteem and have a great self-love, then you sit there and say, I don't deserve to be treated the way I'm being treated right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it doesn't feel right, it's not right.
If it doesn't feel right, it really isn't right. If you find yourself having to cover up about your relationship to your friends, where you're sitting there claiming A, when you know that the situation is actually B at home. You're putting up this front to the public about how happy you are when you're not. You've got problems.
You have.
Yeah.
So the burning question that I have to end the interview on.
Yeah.
I know it's always asked, what do women really want? And I'm a woman, and I have no idea what we want. I honestly can't answer that question. What do men want? What do you want from us?
What do men want? Wow. You know what's interesting?
Huh?
I think it boils down to one word: respect.
So you want respect from us?
I want a woman who's going to respect, and not just respect me as an individual, but respect my vision. Respect, you know, when a woman respects and shares your vision, when a woman respects your position in her life,
okay,
you feel so validated.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big one. I'm not speaking for all men, but certainly
for
that's
you,
me.
it works.
Absolutely.
All right. Wake Up Woman, Linda Yende. The books in bookstores around the country?
It's not. It's
not?
only available directly from me.
Oh, so how do we get in touch with you?
Directly from me. You can catch me on wakeupwoman.com.
Yeah?
You can catch me on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So wakeupwoman.com.
Wakeupwoman.com is
All right,
the best.
excellent. All right, well, I can tell you one thing that women do want, and that's a man that can dance. So, after the